Hello guys, welcome to our channel Football Fantasy and here we are back again after almost a week प्रशांत ना एक हफ्ता हो गया ना आई थिंक
क्या
यूनाइटेड
एक
वाला
हफ्ता
जो
हो गया।
लाइव मैच था हाँ वो किया था हमने तो यस इट इज गुड टू बी बैक एंड प्रशांत इज हियर विद मी जॉइनिंग लॉट्स टू टॉक अबाउट सब ऑफ कोर्स जो ब्रेकिंग न्यूज़ है उसके बारे में तो हम जरूर बात करेंगे थॉमस ट्यूचेल की सैकिंग के बारे में और उसके अलावा चैंपियंस लीग के गेम्स जो कल हुए उसके बारे में बात करेंगे थोड़े आज के गेम्स के बारे में बात करेंगे लॉट्स टू टॉक अबाउट यार फुटबॉल एक ऐसी चीज है ना भाई जिसमें टॉपिक्स कभी कम नहीं होते कुछ ना रोज होता ही रहता है ना प्रशांत
हाँ, as long as the league and the as long as the matches keep happening, कुछ ना कुछ आते ही
हम्म
रहता है हमेशा। Managers get sacked, players are getting linked to each other, and obviously there are the main results on the field, so there's a lot to talk about. नहीं रहे श्री श्री टूशल। जी हाँ, ऐसे भाई एक एक मिनट की 1 मिनट साइलेंस एज अ श्रद्धांजलि। हाँ।
Yeah. I mean, yeah, to be honest, we're going to talk about that first, and it's a very big decision by Chelsea. So before I talk about what I think about this, क्या लगता है प्रशांत, typical Chelsea move, in spite of the owners changing, ऐसा लगता नहीं कि behind the scenes, Abramovich ही रूल कर रहा है Chelsea?
हाँ, हाँ, मतलब देयर हैव बीन फैंस हु हैव बीन सेइंग राइट कि बैकग्राउंड में मतलब अब्रामोविच ही चला रहा है चेल्सी को, ऐसा ही लग रहा है। बट सी अगर अब्रामोविच होता तो वो थोड़ा थोड़ा ज्यादा टाइम देता इसको, मतलब जो
हम्म
बंदे को इतना सारा पैसा दे रखा है उसको तुम इतना जल्दी कैसे सैक कर सकते हो? वी विल बिल्ड अ टीम दैट नो वन वांट्स टू। ओके, फाइन। सो
कौन सा वी बोल रहे हैं तो बारसा की बात कर रहा है चेल्सी की बात कर रहे थे एमशे जरा
एग्जैक्टली, आई
क्लैरिटी
डोंट
दे
नो
जरा
व्हाट इज टॉकिंग अबाउट। So, so coming back to Todd Bowley, right?
हम्म
So the thing is कि इतना पैसा देने के बाद इतना जल्दी क्यों सैक किया उसको? अगर अब्रामोविच भी होता तो थोड़ा
हम्म
उसको ज्यादा टाइम तो देता ही हो, क्योंकि लाइक उसने लैम्पार्ड को तो कितना टाइम
एग्जैक्टली
दिया था। सेकेंड थिंग इज,
करेक्ट करेक्ट
जो बहुत लोग बोल रहे हैं कि इन इन केस ऑफ टूशल, राइट, व्हाट हैज हैपेंड इज कि he has been unhappy with the structure, like उसके ऊपर प्लेयर्स वगैरह सिलेक्ट करने का रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है, he was not happy with that because टॉड बोली जब से आया है he has been the sporting director, he has been the director of football, he has been the transfer guru, he has been every सब, because वो तो पूरा खेलता था चेल्सी का, वो चला गया, that has disappeared. So it's kind of वो ग्लेजर टाइप का थोड़ा सा उनका ट्रांसफर विंडो रहा है, इफ यू लुक एट इट। लाइक ओबामा भी लास्ट मोमेंट पे ही आया, एंड दूसरे भी प्लेयर थे, दे लॉस्ट टू प्लेयर्स टू बारसा, राइट? दे लॉस्ट two of their players, like they were leading those races. Those players were almost confirmed to join Chelsea, और एंड मोमेंट पे they joined Barca instead. तो ऐसा दो प्लेयर्स के साथ हुआ, राइट, कुंडे और रफीनिया। तो
एग्जैक्टली या
थोड़ा सा there is a little bit of glazer vibe over there in the way that Chelsea have operated this window. And uh, Tuchel, because I think in the last match he criticized the squad. Uh, Proud the ownership was like, okay, this is it. Although I just read an article that even before the match it was already decided that he will be sacked. I don't know, but and eventually today morning he was sacked. So uh, I mean, I don't think it was deserved at this point. थोड़ा और wait कर सकते थे। Tuchel has been so okay. So Tejas says Tuchel has been going through a lot since last December and had a lot of issues during the US tour for Chelsea. Senior players also went to Broly about his loss of focus, and new owners want their man. Okay. I mean, yeah, there have been some rumors that he has also not had the dressing room and all that. But the results on the pitch were kind of all right. They weren't that bad, right? Maybe it was heading there, but at this point it was stable. It wasn't that bad. So yeah, for me, I think it's a harsh sacking too soon. Uh, I mean, a decision taken too soon, maybe even in haste. I don't know. What do you think, Divya?
Yeah, before I give out my opinion, I want to ask you something. Just एक क्विज, एक पजल की तरह, एक छोटा सा क्वेश्चन ना, CEO deciding running the football club, no for acting as the director of football, acting as transfer head, everything. Does it ring a bell? Wo, there's certainly a club named Man United having the same kind of an personality and individual. Ed Woodward.
Yeah, yeah.
Isn't that running the same, heading to the same direction? Maybe yeah, Woodward would have not sacked Tuchel or any manager that early. But then yes, again, you are playing like he's playing football manager जो होता है वैसे खेल रहा है वो. मोबाइल में बैठ के players ले रहा है. और अभी मेरा recently I just heard a rumor wherein uh, Bolly wanted Ronaldo at the club, but Tuchel refused it, and that's where it started all the disagreement between Bolly and Tuchel. Now, I'm not sure how true is it and how trustful the source is, but ये build से आया है. तो इन द पास्ट उन्होंने बहुत ही गलत गलत रूमर्स दिए. बट अगेन too soon to be sacked. Yeah, you all literally spent 272 million pounds on transfers for your manager, and then you're sacking him after almost a week after transfer window got over. So that's too soon है. You have to give him chance. तुमने उनको players भी लाके दिए नहीं, and it's becoming very Chelsea scheme that कुछ चल रहा नहीं है, थोड़ा मैचेस हार रहे हैं तो हम मैनेजर को सैक कर देंगे. Tejas says the coach who plays games at right centre back deserve to be sacked. I mean, it's not the first time, but and James has been pretty decent as it's not about. I mean, tactically वो थोड़ा है वैसा. I think Prashant's video is off. He's trying to say
I'm here. I'm here.
tactically, Tuchel is bit, very weird in terms of how he sets his team up. And at times, remember last season he played Pulisic as a right back, right wing back, which was very, surprising. And because a player who is more attack minded, he asked him to do a defensive duties. A similar thing was with Callum Hudson-Odoi, where he played him as a right centre back. तो ये बहुत ही ट्यूकल का पहले का रिकॉर्ड है कि वो बहुत ही वियर्ड डिसीजन लेता है. बट देन अगेन द मैनेजर हैज वन अ चैंपियंस लीग, तो ये इतना जल्दी सैक करना आई डोंट थिंक इट मेक सेंसिबल डिसीजन. Seth says he came, built the team that nobody could defeat that season in Europe, conquered Europe and the world and left. It just reflects impatience of new American owners, nothing else. Welcome to the club where you're run by American owners. We United
Yeah,
fans are,
exactly. Welcome to American ownership.
face. We United fans are facing this, disaster situation since 2005, 2006. Earlier, Sir Alex Ferguson, were papered over those cracks, but then since he retired, we all know what's happened to United. And if Chelsea doesn't do anything right about the situation, they're heading exactly into the same situation. Too early to say that, but again, very poor decision in sacking a manager of Tuchel's caliber. Tejas says Boli is an interim sporting director, but Tuchel was given the onus to identify targets, and he wasn't involved a lot with Rafinha and Kunde deals. That's why they went to Barca. Tejas, you bring up a very excellent point, but then I want to ask you one thing, straightforward thing. Does Jurgen Klopp go out and scout players and tells the Liverpool, people that he wants to and so players? No, he doesn't. His job is to focus on the team, manage the team. Of course, he will give his opinion. The scouting department and the technical director has to figure those players out. Present it to him which player will suit his requirement, his style of play, and that's when Klopp will make a decision. It's not a manager's job to go out and do scouting and recruit players. I'm sure Eric Ten Hag has done the same thing at United, but then that's poor management. When you are already bought the club, you should be ready with the scouting department, the new sporting director. That should be a first priority, and that's what happened. And Chelsea's transfer window. Although people say that they bought players, but it seems like they've done a couple of panic buys and then in the end sack the manager, which is very poor reflection of the way they want to move forward. MJ says Tuchel sacked Agrim by going to UK. Coincidence? हाँ इसने भी देखा है. Agrim का इंस्टा पोस्ट देखा लगता है इसने भी.
हाँ वही इसने भी देखा है भाई उधर फ्रांस भी पेरिस भी पहुंचा है अग्री ही इज आल्सो कन्विंसिंग
अभी
एम्बापे टू जॉइन बारसा
Mbappe to join Barca.
हाँ एग्जैक्टली ओके
Seth
सेफ
says
सेफ
clubs are so poor. You go on, Prashant. Go on.
Huh. Clubs who are so poor, who can't afford to buy players and have to activate livers, should concentrate on their game. They were eliminated from Europa League last season. Yeah,
Oh my
ये तो
God!
आपको
अरे ये
पता
तो बैंटर पे बैंटर हो गया है। ये तो सीधा
भाई
दिल
एग्जैक्टली
पे ही तीर लग गई, दिल पे तीर
हाँ
लग गई ये।
सीधा हाँ
एमसी भाई
एकदम
क्या रिप्लाई। मतलब राइट जगह पे मार दिया, उस जख्म पे
राइट टू द
नमक
स्पॉट
रख दिया
हाँ
है।
एकदम ऐसे
मैं क्या
दुखती
बोल
लत
रहा
पे
हूँ,
पकड़ दिया हाँ
मैं क्या बोल रहा हूँ, अभी ये टाइम भी बारसा बायर्न और इंटर है। क्या लगता है यूरोपा लीग में जाएंगे बारसा, हमारे अग्रिम भाई की बारसा, या फिर क्वालिफाई कर लेंगे?
इट बी इंटरेस्टिंग बट बारसा का फॉर्म है ये सीजन तो आई थिंक इंटर को ही जाना पड़ेगा लाइक ये तीनों में से इंटर को ही जाना पड़ेगा आई डोंट सी एनी ऑफ द अदर टू गेटिंग एलिमिनेटेड ईदर बायर्न और
अरे
बारसा
बायर्न की तो बात मत करो, बायर्न तो टॉप करेगा ग्रुप, बायर्न की तो बात मत करो, बायर्न इज
बारसा
फैंटास्टिक।
भी सेकंड आ जाएगा दे आर गुड इनफ लाइक अभी जावी है तो थोड़ा सा उनका फॉर्म है
अग्री
अभी
अग्री
हाँ
अग्री
तो
विद यू, एब्सोल्युटली।
आना चाहिए हाँ अनलेस ऑफ कोर्स दे आर बैड इनफ टू लूज 8-2 टू बायर्न अगेन but I doubt that would happen again. So, okay, let me read Tejas's comment. Uh, Eric Ten Hag was given the same role this season as we don't have structure. Pool and City have that in place, which United and Chelsea don't at the moment. Yeah, exactly. So, Chelsea actually had it till the new ownership came in, and it was fairly efficient. In fact, that is the reason that Chelsea have won. They have kept winning trophy after trophy despite sacking several coaches. But now they don't have that. Marina Granovskaya has left. Peter Cech has left. So those guys were responsible for these things. They are not there, and this guy Broly, he just thinks he can take it over and just run the club. Typical American mindset, to be honest. I will say that although like Divya, you just mentioned that Tuchel deserves sympathy right now and everything. That is correct, but I have personally always felt that Tuchel has been a little overrated ever since he won the Champions League. Like, okay, they won the Champions League, fine, but the squad was already there in place. That squad was given to Lampard. He literally had to just he just had to manage that team. I mean, they didn't win the league or anything that season, right? They only won the Champions League, and after that, they have not been doing that great. After that, they have struggled against the top teams. They have been in the top, but they have not exactly been. No, they have not been breaking records or anything, right like that. They have not been blowing teams. So I feel that Tuchel also was a little overrated, but at the same time, in this case, he does. I mean, he did deserve some time. The sacking was made in haste, in my opinion. So, yeah, let me also read Tejas's comment. That's why Edwards was linked with both United and Chelsea in the summer. Yeah, okay.
Michael Edwards, yeah, Michael Edwards
Michael
is what
Edwards,
he's
the
referring to.
sporting director. Yeah, exactly.
Correct. So
That,
MJ says Don Agrim went to Europe to monitor Barca's liver pulling ability. अब ये दिखेगा वो कैंप न्यू में अगले मैच में, ऐसा बोर्ड
हाँ,
दिखाते हुए,
हाँ,
हालैंड टू बारसा।
Haaland to Barca.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But and what I want to go back to the point where you said the Marina and Peter Cech used to manage the signing. So you look at it's not just the way they used to get the players, but if you look at Chelsea's next spend, we used to think that Chelsea used to spend a lot of money, but if you look at the next spend, they even sold players at a very very good cost. So if you take the average of the players sold versus the players bought, the next spend was very less compared to clubs like United or other clubs like PSG. So for that matter, they had managed the club brilliantly, and I thought it was very poor to let these people go without hiring a backup or a new signing in that role. So again, managing a football club, managing the transfer activities, the recruitment and everything for someone who is literally new is not going to be a cakewalk, and then you end up making poor decisions. Now, if you, let's say for example, you get Pochettino, or for example, who's linked, the Graham Potter, the Brighton guy. What if he doesn't want to play Aubameyang? What if he wants to have young players? Aubameyang has just signed it. So you go on and sell Aubameyang in January. That's again reflection of poor decision. You literally spent 272 million on one transfer window और उसके बाद तुम बोल रहे हो कि नहीं you know ये नहीं चल रहा है. I want to bring something else which I read today before I'll first read this comment. Abhisheka, Don agrees in Europe to intimidate Bayern. नहीं होने वाला भाई, Bayern intimidate नहीं होने वाली. Bayern को
बैन और 12 गोल मार देगा 8 के बदले उनको इंटिमिडेट किया तो.
So yeah, coming back to the Thomas Tuchel thing, I know what I read today was very strange. He was sacked on a 10 minutes conference call. 10 minutes conference call was sacked here, saying that the things are not working out and you know we should part ways. Tuchel in fact asked for another chance, which he shouldn't be asking because he's a brilliant manager. And Prashant said that he's overrated. Yeah, maybe he is, maybe not, but I feel his tactics are weird at times. You give him the right set of players, maybe he'll get you the results. Again, the player that he got, if you can't say Werner and Howard's and Pulisic various players, they are literally Lampard players. The players he got were Lukaku, didn't work out. Who else he got? I mean, this season he got these players. You can't judge them because they hardly play under him. Thiago Silva, I think, was a free transfer, but that was again under Lampard. If I'm correct me, Prashant, if I'm wrong. Lampard under था, right?
Yeah, yeah. So basically, he is only like in the past 2 seasons, the only proper signing that he has made was Lukaku, and that flopped. So, so that kind of
Lakaka.
didn't help his case. Lakaka. So that did not help his case in any way.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, मुझे तो बहुत ही weird लग रहा है. I never expected. अगर if you remember me, you, Agrim bhai, MC also in the comments, discussing about सबसे पहले श्रद्धांजलि स्ट्रीम किसकी होगी, जेरार्ड या लैम्पार्ड. We thought it either be Steven Gerrard or Lampard, but ये तो out of the box आ गया. कि out of syllabus आना बोलते हैं ना,
पहले स्कॉट पार्कर,
वैसे
पहले स्कॉट पार्कर और बाद में बेस
Scott
और
Parker.
टूकल.
हाँ, correct, correct,
हाँ.
correct. Scott Parker is another one who got sacked.
both were both were very hasty. और दोनों में ना there is a commonality that both criticize the
Mhm,
squad, the ownership, the structure, and the next game they were sacked.
mhm. Yeah, absolutely. I think, yeah, you're right. Scott Parker or maybe criticized किया था. And I think they were not bad, Bournemouth. Yeah, they lost one game to Liverpool. You lose to Liverpool, who are,
Liverpool,
who
City,
have,
and Arsenal.
correct, correct, your first three games. And I mean, that was very strange.
Before that,
I
they
think,
beat Aston Villa.
yeah, exactly. That's what I wanted to point out. They beat Steven Gerrard Aston Villa, and Gerrard is still at job. And moving on, not completely from the topic. Who do you think is the right replacement? And who do you think will Chelsea eventually sign? Looking at this kind of ownership, links are, of course, Graham Potter and Mauricio Pochettino, Zinedine Zidane, and Diego Simeone. Now they have another manager. The Sevilla guy got sacked. Julian Lopetegui got sacked. So who do you think is the right choice? And who do you think will Chelsea end up signing?
As per the news so far, they are
Hmm.
they are apparently speaking to Graham Potter, right? And he might actually come along. I mean, Brighton have allowed Chelsea to speak with Graham Potter because they are meeting the release clause. So that is an interesting part. If Graham Potter comes in, it will be an interesting signing. But
Hmm.
like my first and for most people, the gut
Hmm.
feeling was that okay, Pochettino is coming to Chelsea. I think
Hmm.
that right now looks unlikely, although he is also one of the candidates. But if Graham
Hmm.
Potter comes over there, I would be happy that he got the big jump, but I would still not be sure if the club would be the right place for him because of the turmoil that it is in. Pochettino might just be able to manage it because he has managed Southampton and Tottenham, two clubs which are and
Hmm.
PSG.
Hmm.
So that might help him. So that's my point. But at this point, Graham Potter looks to be the favorite. So yeah, let me read what Steph has written. He says Tuchel reached back-to-back European finals. Prashant, was that coincidence? How many managers have you seen pull that off with different teams? I agree, Steph. I'm not saying that Uh, no, many managers have done that, but at both in both squads, right? With PSG, okay, he managed to reach the finals, but he lost to Bayern. Again, he had a ready-made squad, right? At Chelsea, he basically inherited the squad from Frank Lampard. So in both cases, it's not a squad that he has actually constructed. Second thing is, uh, a lot of people compare Tuchel to Klopp because they are both from Mainz and Dortmund. They come from the same lineage. Do- sorry, Klopp. sorry. Klopp won titles at Dortmund. He had he was doing well when Klopp did eventually leave. He left after 6 or 7 seasons, and there was also a feeling on his part that he has to leave. I think he was sacked from Dortmund, but even though he was sacked, it was more like a mutual uh, agreement that he left on. Thomas Tuchel, when he was sacked from Dortmund, he was sacked because of the poor run. So there is a slight difference there. So that's why I say that he is a little bit overrated because he is one of those managers that they were provided ready-made squads and he just made use of them and won. That's my opinion. Divya, please have your say.
No, no, I mean, I agree to both you and Steph. I don't think Tuchel is overrated. Yeah, like I said, his tactics at times may not favor a lot of players. And as you rightly pointed out, the player that he bought in, I mean, that were at Chelsea were not his players. Lukaku was his signing, and not many players were actually his players. But then again, they were brilliant squad. I think uh, Champions League, it was a ready-made squad, which you are right. But then again, a lot of people have had ready-made squad. If you look at last season, Pochettino, he had ready-made squad with the Lionel Messi, but still he couldn't get them to the past the round of 16. There were a lot of cases, wherein managers have had a brilliant squad, but they weren't able to, go on to reach the finals or win the finals. That's what Pochettino has done. So maybe I disagree a bit to your point, but I know where you're coming from. And yes, he's got a squad which was brilliant. But then again, to go on to win the Champions League, a lot of managers do get it. PSG gets it, Man City managers get it, but then none of them have won the Champions League. So again, disagree with you on that point. But yes, overall, some points of what you said are correct, and I agree to it. And I Chelsea and Steph said Chelsea, at times were not run proper. How many managers have you seen pull that off with different teams? Yeah. So Steph's point is absolutely correct. Not many managers have done that. And Tejas says Colwell and Gilmore went to Brighton to learn Potter's philosophy now changes a lot. I mean, we talk about Chelsea's academy players, so many academy players going across so many clubs on loan, and loan specialist club है Chelsea. So
Uh,
अभी again, Graham Potter, not sure whether book होगा कि नहीं. Looks like he's a top, choice because of the links and everything. The bookies also place him on top ahead of someone like Mauricio Pochettino, who is available. Potter still hired at working for Brighton. Pochettino is jobless, so still he's a bookie's favorite, so it might happen. But then again, I'll come back to Graham Potter with a excellent question on my own, Prashant, for you. But let me read out the comments. Klopp श्रद्धांजलि stream. नहीं भाई इतनी जल्दी नहीं हराम ज्यादा है जीतेगा मैच अभी थोड़ी कुछ इजी नहीं मैच आएगी जीतेगा टॉप 4 में आ गया तो उसकी श्रद्धांजलि नहीं होने वाली इतनी जल्दी shocked to see the decision of Chelsea. Tuchel didn't deserve this. My opinion, absolutely. Maybe he's overrated, Prashant, like you said. Maybe Seth says that not many managers have achieved it. Irrespective of all that, keeping all that aside, my point is, you literally spend almost 300 million pounds on a manager. You at least give him 2 or 3 months. You sacked him within few days of ending the window. What's the point in this? You got him literally the striker he wanted. You wanted Ronaldo, but he insisted on Aubameyang, and you got him Aubameyang only to sack him after 7 days. Absolutely pointless. Maybe we can agree to disagree on Saf and Prashant's point, but the thing is that it is not a wise decision to sack a manager so early in the season. He's not done all that bad. Yes, he's lost a couple of games, but he's getting the team together. He's just lost two of his top central defenders in to Real Madrid and Barcelona, Rudiger and Christensen. And he has to adapt to the new team, new style of defensive play. Koulibaly and Fofana have to adapt to that play. So it will eventually take time. Very strange that this has happened. And if the rumors are correct, it's happened over a 10-minute call, then I'm really surprised and shocked. Now, my question to you, Prashant, I want to see what your answer is. You are a Graham Potter, you have the Chelsea offer, top club in London, top club in England, and you got get this owner who's going to spend for you and go and build team for you. You do that or you wait, till the World Cup ends. Maybe Southgate leaves the job. You are the best British manager right now in the Premier League. Literally, Graham Potter is the best British manager in the Premier League right now.
Yeah.
So you wait for that and become the manager of England national team. You get to coach the England national team. There's a very highly likely chance that he may even win with the squad that they have. Southgate, we all know, is incompetent. But Graham Potter is an excellent manager. So with his philosophy, does he wait? If you are Graham Potter, what would you do? Would you go for Chelsea or would you wait for the England job?
Uh, I would, I think, strong feeling that Graham Potter, being in the situation that he is, he might actually take the job. And that's a sad thing because, I would not want, if something doesn't work out for a bright prospect like him, it won't be good to see. So it will be
Mhm.
disappointing. So the mindset of a manager these days is that you have an opportunity right now, just take it. You know, not everyone is a Graham Potter is not Zidane. Like Zidane can actually wait because he is Zidane. He has already won the Champions League and everything. So he wants to specifically wait for the France job. He can do it. Graham Potter cannot do it because there's no guarantee that England might even, hire him. England, like the English board, are quite unpredictable. They can just go out and hire anyone else. For all they know, they like someone like
Big Sam.
Sam. That's
100% record, bro. 100% record. Big Sam. Don't forget. Never underestimate Big Sam.
exactly. So he did famously say, Sam Allardyce did famously say that, if my name would have been Allardyce instead of Allardyce, I would have had the job. So, the of late, the English board has had a, preference towards some foreign managers. So you never know whom they will sign. Okay, Mshe is going. So yeah, good night, Mshe. Thanks for joining the stream. Huh.
Yeah, so again, a lot of people would do what you said, that they would rather take up what's in front of them. It's not that they're going to get a West Ham job. No offense to West Ham or any other club like Southampton, but then
Yeah,
you're offered a Chelsea job, wherein you get to compete in the Champions League, you get to play for the top club, get to manage top club, manage huge players like Thiago Silva and N'Golo Kante, Koulibaly, Mendy, big names you got to manage. So of course, any manager would, be tempted to sign for Chelsea, and I think that will be the case. I think Graham Potter is the most likely signing. Tejas says, question for Prashant: is Zidane overrated as those squads and philosophy were built by Jose and Don Carlo, and all their players are mentality monsters? I want you to
uh,
answer this question. What are questions there?
absolutely. Sure. So Zidane did not win it just once. He won it 3 times in a row. Okay. He
Hmm.
also won in one of those seasons, right? Tuchel, I mean, I think he won a league at PSG, which they had anyway expected to win, right? So that's the only league which I think he has won, right? He and then in Europe, the Champions League final which he reached with PSG was also like it was during the lockdown. So let's say for once, let's give him that. But there can be an argument there as well that that particular final was reached in different circumstances. Okay, then with regards to the final where they beat Chelsea, right? Sorry, Chelsea beat Man City and won the Champions League. Correct. So under Thomas Tuchel, they had, I mean, it was only half a season. first and foremost. So the squad was already getting into the, they were already in the group back then, and at the same time, a lot of them were already familiar with his style at that point because he is German and a lot of the players were German. Havertz, Werner, Pulisic, etc. Like Pulisic is not German, but he was from the Bundesliga. So, uh, so on those fronts, and that was his first season. So for a that might have just been a part of the new manager bounce. For one season that might work, but has how consistent has he been after that? Like I have never seen his record and felt that yeah he's an elite manager. Like ever since he's won the Champions League, all of a sudden he's an elite manager. He's an elite manager. No, I'm sorry. I don't think he's of the level that Klopp or Pep are, in my opinion. He is good, but he is not an elite manager. Let me say that. I'm sorry if I sound it right now, but Thomas Tuchel is not an elite manager like Pep. Period. Take it
Oh,
away,
I
Divya.
mean, I mean, अरे तू तो भाई कंट्रोवर्सी कर रहा है भाई प्लेइंग विद फायर चेल्सी
Yeah.
फैंस को तू पिस ऑफ कर रहा है बट तेजस सेज बट इट वाजंट his squad and at the same point was mentioned for Tuchel, though I'm not a fan of both the managers. Yeah, he rightly said it was not his squad, but he still managed to win the Champions League. But again, you can say that it was a well-made squad with already world-class players in it. So you could
Okay.
argue
Okay.
that, but again, yeah. Go on, Prashant, go
Like,
on.
sorry, I believe Tejas is answering to my
Yeah.
reply about Zidane, right? Is that correct,
Mhm.
Divya? When I said that Zidane won it three times, correct? So
It,
over
mhm,
the three,
mhm.
let me just tell you that that particular squad, the one which won three Champions League, one of those players like was Rafael Varane. Rafael Varane signed for Real Madrid simply because of Zidane. We as Man United fans know that, right? He was about to sign for United. I believe Mourinho went to Varane's agent and Zidane was with him. Looking at Zidane, Varane just went off to Madrid. So Zidane did have some decent signings, like not much, but he had a few signings here and there, which I mean, over it was three seasons. It's not that they did not sign any players for those three seasons, did they? They signed players. So, okay, the first season he inherited a squad which was from Benitez. But the next 2.5 seasons, he won consecutively.
Yeah, I'm
Abhishek,
back here.
what's happening with Chelsea? Okay.
Steph, for question for you, what's happening with Chelsea? Yeah. What's happening with Chelsea is we don't know what's going to happen with Chelsea, and very interesting to see who is the new manager now. I think there'll be an interim. You can't use the word interim. You can say, backup manager or uh,
Taker.
yeah, caretaker manager. Yeah. So maybe someone will take care. And then in few weeks we have an international break coming up. So maybe after international break, the new manager will take over either Pochettino or Potter or whoever is it. It's going to be a huge decision, and we see where they go on from there. Uh, Tejas says Hazard, Jovic, Theo Hernandez, Ceballos, and Morata were his signings, which were failures. Only Freeland, Mendy, and Milica were success. Okay, yeah, this I would like to answer Tejas' question. First of all, you know, if you think that managers have a say in Real Madrid and Barca signings, I don't think that is right. Real Madrid and Barca signings are decided by their president, and of course, manager is told that this player is signed. But I think, especially Real Madrid, is more about Florentino Perez looking into and signing those players rather than the managers. But again, yes, we always have failed players and failed signings and signings that don't work out. But still, yes, the Freeland, Mendy, and Milita were success. I think Rodrigo was also Zinedine Zidane signing. If I'm not wrong, so was Vinicius Junior. So these two were I think also Zidane's signing. But yes, again, comparing Zidane, Tuchel are two different things. Tuchel, Prashant, like as rightly said, hasn't won that much. Zidane was given an opportunity. with a team that was already in place. Zidane, one thing Zidane is really good at over Tuchel is man management. Zidane has a brilliant man management. He knows how to manage stars, and the day he becomes French manager, France are going to win a lot of trophies. That's what I can say because he knows how to. He may not be an excellent coach like a Tuchel or Louis Van Gaal for that matter, but for someone who is a good man manager, I think he can work wonders at any club. So that's what I think, my personal opinion. You can answer that question. I think it's for you, Tejas. Hazard, Jovic, Hernandez, Ceballos. Yeah. So what about
Uh,
those? If you're saying that, yeah.
yeah, so like all of those were his signings, and they did not go. That they did not succeed. Okay, fine. But even with the ones which did succeed, equally, okay, if within a span of one season someone wins, and then eventually they get exposed, right? So let's say he would have won the first Champions League by fluke. Okay, let's say that he won the first Champions League by fluke, total like completely by fluke. Okay, he has nothing to do with it. He would have been exposed in the second or the third season. But what happened in the second season? He won the league and the Champions League. In the third season, he retained the Champions League. So he won it
Mhm.
three times. Tuchel made two finals with two different squads. But in the first squad, he was right. Like even when he the final of the Champions League, there were already sounds of talks of him getting sacked because the style of play was getting poorer. That and they
Mhm.
were even when PSG reached the final, there was a word around because their style was getting poorer. Yes, that is, and when that continued into the next season, that's when he was sacked and Pochettino was bought in.
Correct,
And
correct.
then again
Mhm.
he with Chelsea, but he won it. That also was like about 2 seasons ago now, right?
Mhm. Correct,
So
correct. Exactly.
definitely a world class coach, he would have not been exposed by now. He would have at least done better in the Champions League last season. They did not do it. So I feel Tuchel is overrated. Period.
Okay, I think we can go on about this topic. I'll quickly read out Tejas' next comment. Then, in that case of Casemiro, Ramos, Cruz, Modric, Siasen brought by previous managers who are the backbone of Champions League. Agreed with you on people management, which was a success factor. Absolutely, that's what the major factor was. Moving on from the Tuchel saga and the new manager, Prashant, if I'm sure you must have seen or heard about the last night's Champions League games. PSG won, so did Man City. And we all know the two players who are in the spotlight right now, Kylian Mbappe and Erling Haaland. Erling Haaland has scored now 25 goals in 20 Champions League games, which is brilliant. Fantastic record. He's just five short of Wayne Rooney's record of 30 goals, and Kylian Mbappe that is currently at 35 goals if I'm not wrong. So Mbappe versus Haaland, a topic, a competition which was being spoken about since a very long time. I thought in the beginning it was overhyped, overrated, but now I can see it's coming off though. I'm going to talk about Messi and Ronaldo's comparison later, but let me first ask you, Prashant, Mbappe versus Haaland, who do you think is the better player? And who do you think, will end up breaking records?
Uh, I think I will say just on the current basis, I feel Mbappe will do it simply because he is playing in the French league, so he will get a lot more. He will get way to rest. He will get
Mm,
way more to show when he does play.
mm,
So only because of that factor, and it's not that he is a bad player. He is
mhm,
also going to play Champions League and everywhere else. So it's
mhm,
not that it's gonna he doesn't deserve his tag of being a great
mhm,
player. But
mhm,
with those factors in consideration, he
mhm.
will have a chance to score more. All on the other hand, Haaland, I mean, if he continues the way he's going on right now, I don't know where he will end. If he just continues playing this way, it's unnatural. It is unnatural the way he's playing. You know, like he- I just saw one of the random videos on YouTube today, and that particular video, an expert in that video, he said the same thing which I had also stated in my social media today, that if someone were to create, genetically create a striker, that would be Haaland. He's tall, he has the pace, he has the physicality, he has the ball control, he has everything. Mbappe has pace, dribbling skills, everything, but he does not have the physicality. So Haaland will even succeed in the Premier League because he can be physical. It's not a problem for him. So that is one thing to look forward. In the long run, it will be an interesting thing to see. If Mbappe actually ends up joining a bigger club, that would also make it better. More worth watching.
Whoa, ho, 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 ho. So are you saying PSG is not a big club? Are you saying
Uh,
that PSG is not a big club?
as big as the Real Madrid or Barcelona.
Yeah, yeah, I mean, you are right in that because we've seen that when Real Madrid and Barca come knocking people, some players throw off it. They literally want to join them at all costs.
Yeah,
They go on strike. They, ask their agents to put things on social media, and we've seen that in the past. But yeah,
yeah.
because of the historic record and the
To
prestige, yeah.
decline Madrid, he played with them, but still, I mean, if he was actually, he would have taken it. I think it would have been good for him. With the same old debate, Messi will be GOAT if he plays in PL. Huh. Yeah,
Yeah, so again, my point on this is initially I thought Mbappe would end up uh, to break all records and he'll achieve greatness. And I didn't think that I thought that maybe Haaland will end up getting bullied by Premier League defenders, the style of play. But I've got to say I'm wrong. I was wrong, and he's banging in goals and doesn't look at all uncomfortable. He's pretty comfortable. He can jump. He can score from all the angles. Just put the ball in the box, and he's going to bang in goals. And the best part about Haaland is that he's playing under Pep Guardiola's Man City. Who will create chances left, right, and center. So he doesn't
he
have
has
shortage of chance. Yeah, bro. What is it? He has
he has the to support him at City. De Bruyne
exactly,
provides.
exactly. De Bruyne, Bernardo Silva, Cancelo. I mean, the amount of players that are going to give him assist is you know, it is a perfect match made in heaven. They lacked a striker. If you look behind and watch the Champions League game, which City lost against Real Madrid. Look at towards the end, when Jack Grealish came on, he created so many chances. There were no one to put the ball in the net. There was no one to tap in. And I think if Haaland would have been in that game, it would have been a altogether different outcome. Nothing to take away from Real Madrid. They were fantastic, throughout the entire season. But then again, that game it would have been a different scenario if Erling Haaland would have been there. Tejas says Mbappe the prisoner now for the Sheikhs. He has sold his soul. He will be a farmer all his life. Yeah, that's exactly one point. I think that separates these two players. Haaland, in spite of all the controversies, his agent, Riola, and the previous club, CEO created, and all those news about him, all those hype about him, he always stayed on the ground. He kept his feet on the ground. Whenever asked about it, he was humble, he was quiet, he focused on delivering things on the pitch, and that's what makes him I think he takes him a step above Mbappe. Mbappe, for all he created a big drama last season, where we thought he would end up going to Real Madrid, and then this season he did another drama. If he wanted to stay at PSG, he could have done it well in advance. Waited for all the drama to happen. Literally it was a bad fight between Madrid and PSG, and then it ended it on him with him staying at PSG. We all know he didn't stay for ambition or anything. It was for the money, and it was for, of course, because of the pressure from the French. Yeah, I even heard the French Prime Minister spoke to him and asked him to stay, and it was about he will get more and more control over signings and whatnot. That was very, you know, unfortunate. If that was going to happen from the beginning, I think he should have made a decision back in January, to wait and create all the drama. I don't believe of that story. I want to think and make my decision. I don't want to speak in between the season. Everyone knows what you want to do in your career. Mm, things don't work out, that's a different thing. But if you're telling me you don't know what you're going to do in next 6 months, then I don't believe that. So it was all about drama and to make sure more clicks on social media and drags out till the end. And very I thought that was very bad of Mbappe to do that. And towards the beginning of season, that controversy with Neymar and Messi, again another thing that shouldn't have happened, and it puts the club in a bad limelight. So again, if you ask me, Haaland versus Mbappe, I like Haaland. He's more of a natural goal scorer. He keeps his head on the ground, doesn't do stuff on social media, only wants to score goals and break records. That's why I put Haaland above Mbappe. Talent-wise, Mbappe is fantastic. He's brilliant. He can become whatever he wants to. But if the drama continues, I don't think he will, continue to perform at this level after 30, 31 years of age. So yeah,
Yeah. So
um, yeah.
I would like to add to that. Uh,
Mm,
Mbappe is, we can say that Mbappe is on his way to becoming a Pogba in terms of his, social media antics. Haaland, on the other hand, he has his father is also an ex-footballer, so he
mhm,
has some very good to take control of him and guide him, not just to make sure that he doesn't lose his way. So he has not had the theatrics that Mbappe has had, which is a very valid point.
mhm,
I would agree to that.
mhm. Yeah, you're correct in that manner. And let's see what it turns out. Maybe Mbappe will change his attitude. As he becomes more and more mature. Next thing I want to talk about. I think we've spoken a lot about Tuchel today. Glad it's taken up extra time, but there's very important thing I want to speak about. I think you can read the question in on the screen itself. Are Manchester United better without Cristiano Ronaldo? With him not starting, United winning the games. Of course, defensively, United have been better without Maguire and Luke Shaw and Van der Saka. But then, a lot of people say Ronaldo is because Ronaldo is not there. Rashford is getting more freedom. Fernandes can express himself, and if you look at the stats, Fernandes with Ronaldo and Fernandes without Ronaldo, it makes you believe that Ronaldo restricts people and all those agenda. Do you think, Prashant, actually, simple question to you, are Manchester United better without Cristiano Ronaldo?
Well, statistically speaking, yes. Uh, but here's the thing. I think Eric Ten Hag is a coach who can manage players like him simply because, an example which has always been touted about as a reply to Ronaldo's is that the one of Sebastian Haller at Ajax. So if he does want, he can actually, if Ronaldo does actually fit into Ten Hag's system, which he did not get time to fit into because he did not do the pre-season, he can actually be a good asset for United even under Ten Hag's system. Yes, if Ten Hag does require, if there are teams which would require pressing and all of that, then Ronaldo would not be useful. Ronaldo would have been useful when he would be useful when the he would be the focal point, and there will be teams like that. I actually think that in front of teams like the bottom teams or the mid-table teams, if a team is actually sitting deep, Ronaldo might actually be a threat wherein he can go get into the box and get things done. But otherwise, like teams, the big teams like Arsenal and so on, like Man City and sorry, apologize, I just mentioned Arsenal in as a big team,
Yeah,
so I
yeah,
want to clarify
exactly.
that. But of the Premier League, okay.
Yeah.
So there, it's not necessary to play Ronaldo. If pace is required, then it would be Rashford up front. But if we require a lethal finisher, at least we can say that Ronaldo provides us with another dimension. That's how I would put it for now. I don't think that we have this thing that Ronaldo is better without. Sorry, United is better without Ronaldo. So let me see what Tejas is saying. Uh, CR7 was good in his last two games. Even Ten Hag said he missed the preseason. That's why he is building fitness and will start the Europa game. QQ, can Rashford do well against low block? Yeah, similar point which I was making, Divya. When if it's a
Hmm.
low block, the mid-table team to defend deep, Ronaldo will be a better option against them because if Rashford goes ahead and runs at them or presses them, it won't help much because they are already playing with a low block. So
Hmm.
it doesn't make to press them. We need someone who goes through them and finds the gaps. So that is something that Ronaldo can do. If we have a team playing at us, attacking us, then okay, I just read Tejas' comment. That's funny. Yeah, if we are to press the opponent. So I hope that clarifies it for you, Divya. What do you think?
Yeah, yeah. I think Rashford. If you look at the previous game, he scored when yes, he started as a number nine, but the goal that he scored is when Ronaldo came on and he moved on to the left hand side. That's where I find Rashford is more effective. Can run at defenders, can dribble past players. He's more effective with the ball, counter-attacking. You need him. Fernandez and Ericsson putting him through. So I feel Rashford is more of a left-hand side player, and I don't think Ronaldo, uh, uh, United success or failure has to do anything with Ronaldo. You look back at last season. I don't think I don't know where we would have been if it not were for his goals. 20 goals he banged last season. I don't know where we would have been. We would have been, between 10 to 20th position if it was not for Ronaldo's goal. So again, mm, it's nothing to do with each other. People say that Tejas ने rightly बोला कि he missed the pre-season. That's why Eric Ten Hag, and then some idiots come out and say that, but Anthony and Lisandro Martinez also didn't have pre-season, but they're starting. Understand this. Anthony and Lisandro Martinez have played for Eric Ten Hag at Ajax. They know his philosophy. They know his style of play. They know what he expects from them. So that's why they go directly into the team. He doesn't have to make them train for weeks and weeks to make them understand the style. That's the difference between people like Ronaldo and other players who have not got the opportunity, not got the starting that much as expected, and eventually, as the season goes by, people like Donny Van de Beek and people like Fred, who hasn't had that much opportunity this season, will get to play. Even in fact, even Casemiro has not started a game yet. So I think Europa League picture, we will see both Casemiro and Ronaldo start. We might even see our legendary Harry Maguire start along with Luke Shaw for the Europa League game. And from there on, how people it wouldn't be about winning that game in Europa League. It wouldn't be about who scores more goals. Eric Ten Hag would assess that game in terms of who understands his style more, much easily, who is ready to fit in instantly into his squad, and that is the player that will go into the starting lineup over the weekend. That's what my opinion is, and that's what I think is going to happen. But again, maybe he feels that Ronaldo can't press, or but as a lot of Ronaldo haters say that he's not good enough, or he's a burden. He puts a lot of toxicity in the dressing room. I don't think like that, and I don't think a champion player like him with the mentality he has, it's not to be believed. I don't buy that. But yes, a lot of people say. He just says Graham Potter is likely to be confirmed as Chelsea head coach tomorrow. Will be a long-term contract to introduce new football. Oh God. Todd Bowley wants Graham Potter to be a man in charge for many years. Dave Roberts said LA Dodgers has been in charge for 7 years. Bowley and Potter are set to have dinner together. Sky Sports News. Hmm.
Yeah.
So
They
Graham
don't
Potter is about to destroy
have
his.
just that starters. They have now ordered main course. You know, like how Gerard was.
भाई 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 भूलना मत है भाई, जब अग्रिम वापस आए उनको पूछना है भाई, थिंग्स
Uh,
गॉट गेटिंग हॉटर, ये सब क्या था, मतलब ये लास्ट डे पे जो
because
फालतू की बकवास की थी उसने। थिंग्स आर गेटिंग, बोलते बाद में बोलते हैं कि बर्नार्डो सिल्वा वो अबाउट टू कम, फ्रॉम प्लेयर से, मतलब खाऊ है क्या, खाने की बात है, मतलब सिटी ने दे दिया प्लेयर बर्नार्डो सिल्वा, उनका इतना इंपॉर्टेंट प्लेयर, विदाउट साइनिंग अ बैकअप, हाँ लेके जाओ। हाँ पेप, हाँ बारसा का ये समझता हूँ मैं, बारसा मेरा प्यारा क्लब है, तो आई विल नॉट स्टैंड इन अवे, ऑफकोर्स ही वोंट स्टैंड इन अवे, बट नॉट डेडलाइन डे पे भाई, जब मैन सिटी के पास कोई बैकअप ना हो, भाई तो कुछ भी, मतलब जस्ट टू गेट क्लिक्स ना, कुछ जर्नलिस्ट बकवास, लिटरली बकवास करते हैं, coming back to the Ronaldo point, my opinion, Prashant's opinion, I think we both agree to one point that without Ronaldo and Man United success are nothing to do with each other. You know, United will require Ronaldo, like Prashant rightly said, in those games where it's difficult to, break the low block and for someone to go inside and put in do a tap in or put in a header in tight situations. So you would need someone like Ronaldo. Uh, this is in line with James' renewal for 6 years, almost to a long-term plan in place, and they're going to tie up Mount as well as long-term contract. I will come back to your comment. Let me read this next comment. Gerard Romero is a wall fucker who only cared about his Twitch channel this summer and lost his credibility. Absolutely. No one cares about his credibility now. We all know he just, you know, talks rubbish for clickbait. Now, I want to come back to Tejas' comment. I want to ask you a question. I like Reece James. Reece James is a fantastic player. I'm not going to talk about him. No debate. I think he's the best right back along with Kyle Walker. Don't. I don't even think Trent Alexander-Arnold's name should be mentioned along with these two. Leave aside the assist part. You are a right back. You got to defend first. So keeping that aside, Mason Mount, I feel that he is slightly overrated. I don't think he's that kind of player that the hype they bring in. I I thought
Tom,
initially he was good. Yeah, sorry.
like Thomas Tuchel.
अरे नहीं यार, I like Thomas Tuchel. Thomas Tuchel अच्छा manager है यार. I don't think he's overhyped. तेरा opinion है. I respect that. I like Thomas Tuchel. He is fantastic. Yeah, but yeah, but Mason Mount I think थोड़ा overrated. Don't you think? मुझे ऐसा लगता है. I may be wrong. I was wrong about Haaland not succeeding in Premier League, and he went on to succeed. So I may be wrong. But what do you think? I think थोड़ा ज़्यादा hype है Mount का, just because he's English.
The thing is, he is obviously, the fact is that he is English, so he will be hyped. ठीक है, hype English player के साथ hype आ जाता है. Okay, regardless of how good or bad he is. The other thing is because he has had a good season at Chelsea and he has actually survived two managers, right? And he has done fairly well under them. Uh, Lampard earlier and now Tuchel. इस हिसाब से उसके ऊपर people are like, oh yeah, he is a good prospect and everything. So this is the reason why he is rated highly. But I think he's like, with a good coach he can still play well. I don't exactly get the feeling right now that he's like he's 100 million kind of a player, but 50 million kind of a player is something I would rate him as, even with the English tags. So I have like seen limited bits of him, like that I can recollect at this point, and on the basis of that, he is good. He is not a dribbler, or uh, I can just say that he's not a Grealish that teams would pay 100 million for. Obviously, Grealish itself was overhyped, so you can get the right? Is worth 40 to 50 million. Hype is there. The overhype is not there.
Yeah, I agree to that. Maybe 50 million player. I think he's got a lot of potential, but I think he haven't put. He's got brilliant free kicks. That I'll give to him. Fantastic player from a dead ball situation. बहुत ही जबरदस्त player है. And talking about English player, Prashant, controversy. I'm sure you would have read Eric Bailly coming out and accusing Manchester United of favoring English players. What do you think? I'll speak about this. I have my own opinion about this. What are your thoughts on this? Do you buy this thing, or you think that this is just you know
Well, uh, if you just look at,
Prashant? Before you answer that question, Tej has a question for you. Want a list from Prashant for overhyped players and managers? We will come to this towards the end of the video. But yes. But yes, Prashant, your question on my question on this Eric Bay situation. What do you think?
yeah, so the thing about Bai is that he was in the last 2 seasons he wasn't used much. So his statement is obviously pointed towards Harry Maguire, right? And because United are like they are not like so much of a football club; they are more like a commercial entity, right? Like people have pointed out. I think uh, what happened in most likelihood is that managers had the pressure to play Maguire ahead of Bai because of the price tag, and that's where his comment is coming from. So, and of course, Maguire has not performed, but it is not that Bai himself has performed greatly. He also was very injury prone. So, I can understand where his, but he did get a fair chance. I do think that he got a fair chance. He got many chances at United, and he has also, on occasion, failed.
या प्रशांत को नींद आ रही है तेज बोल रहा है. Okay, so my point on Eric Bailly, she maybe he's partly right, and I don't think it was, if you're talking about Maguire, it's not to do with his nationality. It's more to do with the price tag that came with him, 85 million euro. You go on to put him on the bench, that says a big thing about him. And that shouldn't be coming from a mouth of a player who's just played 113 games over past 5 years, 4 or 5 years, wherever he's there. And he missed out so many games due to injuries. He was so injury prone. He was so injury prone. Rather than speaking about all this, he should have focused on keeping himself fit. I'm sure injuries are hard to come. Hard luck situations under your control. But then you got to keep yourself fit as well. A lot of times he was getting injured after playing one game, coming back from injury, and then again getting injured. So yes, under Ragnick is where I believe he didn't get the opportunity, but I think that was to do with something else rather than his injury, about the toxicity things that he leaked in the media. We went on to like a post from a fan where he said Maguire is not fit. Varan and Bai to start to reply on that comment. I hope so and all that. You don't do that, When you're doing that and then you're accusing the club. I blame the club as well, because last year we gave him a new 4 year contract. That shouldn't have happened. We should have told him. But we ended up giving a new 4 year contract, which is on the
Yeah,
club. That is absolutely I agree to some of the pundits which say a club is equal responsible for that. But I don't buy that, it was English bias. There may be situation in the team where there may be two different contingencies, English nationals and the other country nationals. There might be a situation, but I don't think it was more to do. It was more to do with Harry Maguire's price tag. And I'll say one clear thing. You pick what is available in front of you. The good thing about Harry Maguire is he doesn't get injured frequently. He's always available to play. So you always go with the option that is available in front of you. Eric Bailly has been injured. Varane just came last year. Prior to that was Lindelof, Bailly, and Maguire. He didn't have competition. He was never going to get picked. Phil Jones was never going to pick ahead of him. We all knew about that. Prior to that, it was Smalling. So uh, putting that as an excuse, I don't agree to that. Yes, the club is to be blamed for it, but his own performances were equally contributed to it, and player who has not been fit is one uh, big talking point. Ole's tenure, he was right to extend, but Bai was injury prone as well and used to leak info to the media as he was unhappy because of lack of game time. Yeah, you're right, but I don't agree to the point of extending the contract. If you've already signed Varane, you shouldn't have had this guy. You could have
right.
rather given Tuanzebe a chance. He would have done much better. Tuanzebe went on loan. You could have played Tuanzebe. If you were going to give only handful of games, which Eric Bailly got. So I disagree to that. I thought I think that he should have been sold last season, but that didn't happen. So these things bring up toxicity in the dressing room. We saw the curious case of Dean Anderson as well. He was not played, and that led to so much toxicity. He didn't want to speak to the new manager. He wanted to go out straight on loan and have some playing time. So when you have unhappy players, when you have players who are not given chances, these things are bound to happen at a club. So, Prashant, moving on and final topic, talk about, we have, I think, extended our show time. But yes, I don't want to go off before talking about this. Champions League game last night, how did you like them and which was the game that impressed you the most?
I think PSG UA game was quite nice.
Yeah, absolutely.
PSG scored. They were really good goals, both of them. Uh,
Yeah, yeah,
that another good point was Hazard. Eden Hazard actually scored for Real Madrid.
yeah,
He looks
absolutely.
more in now, so that
Hmm.
was a good thing. Hopefully, he can get back to his best. Uh, so yeah, those were the things, and of course, how can we forget Man City's game? The way Haaland scored. Oh my god! Oh my god! The man literally, he people have. I mean, even before he joined City, right? People were making memes of him, comparing him to Terminator. Like he's someone who's come to like that. But it actually looks like that. If I actually
Yeah,
see the way he's performing, and I'm not even, it's not even an over exaggeration because the way he behaves, the way he scores, the way he plays, it's almost very robotic. Because people, as you mentioned, Mbappe is active on social media. Haaland is not so much on social media, right? So people know very
yeah,
little of. From what people see of him, he does actually appear to be like a robot or something. So yeah, okay. Tejas says that is set to succeed from Tuchel. Okay, fine.
yeah.
All the
So
best to
it should be official anytime. Yeah, all the
Yeah,
best to Graham Potter. So,
yeah.
and
Uh, Speaking of the
yeah, go on,
Champions
go on,
League,
go on.
as we have been speaking, I have also had the uh, Ajax and Rangers match running on my screen here. So Ajax have beaten Rangers 4 goals to nil. Rangers had one goal which was disallowed through offside. Ajax have
Yeah,
dominated
yeah.
the game.
Yeah,
So
fantastic. And I continue to do what they are doing, even after losing so many players, even after losing the managers, they still continue to be the team they are, And last thing before we come back to Tejas's point, and I want to ask you about your list, the game that you're looking out today the most, Of course, the Rangers game is over. We're still left with few games. Which game is more likely that you're going to watch? I know the
uh,
answer, but I want to hear from your mouth.
yeah, the Bayern and Inter match would be the one that I will be watching. Yeah, it will be a close. And the good thing about Inter is that they may not go far in the Champions League, but they have, they have kind of returned to their Italian roots. They have an Italian manager in place, and they
Hmm.
have a vibe about them again. So, a
Hmm.
German side, German manager against an Italian team with that Italian style. So
Hmm.
it will be to watch.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, he just also said Inter versus Bayern game for me as well, I'm going to pick a different option. I'm going to go with Napoli versus Liverpool because I think Liverpool are a bit naive at this point in time. And then you go to Naples and play there. So again, not going to be
But
easy.
they kept in the past that, Napoli, whenever they are, people expect them to throw up a challenge, they kind of don't. I hope they do, but I don't know if they have any good players right now. Are Napoli in a good form, a good run of form right now? I'm not sure.
They are, if you look at their current, position in still the second. They are unbeaten in the Serie A. Okay, out of five
Okay.
games played, they won three and drawn two. The second to Atalanta with 11 points. So again, you know, wouldn't say that very good form. But then again, I think they will pose a challenge, especially if they're playing at their home and they have some good players. Victor Osimhen, for example, who's going to lead the lineup. Of course, they've got Di Lorenzo, the right back from Italy. and couple of good players they have. So let's see if they can, pose a challenge for Liverpool. So that will be my pick of the match. But let's see which turns out to be better. Now, Prashant, before we close the session, coming back to Tejas' question, I'm going to pop the question. Want a list for Prashant for overhyped players and managers. So, Prashant, the stage is yours. Go on.
Sure. So Tejas, overhyped players. As I mentioned, Thomas Tuchel was overhyped. Jack Grealish is overhyped. Uh, Apart from him, uh, I mean there is like an entire list that I can recollect. I think Declan Rice to some extent is overhyped at this stage. Uh, if he does well in Europe, then that's when we'll be. Luke Shaw at one, we can now say that he's overhyped because his form has waned off. So he was overhyped at a stage. Even Rashford, you know, is overhyped because he has only returned to form right now. But until then, like because of his social work and because he is British, he does get a lot of praise and a lot of pampering from the British press. And again, Tejas, I need to tell you that the overhyped word which I am mentioning right now is mainly for the British press because when Tuchel joined Chelsea, let me again come to the Tuchel point that when Tuchel joined Chelsea from PSG, people were again very skeptical how he would do because he was sacked by PSG as well. He won the championship and then all of a sudden he's an elite manager. So that's how flippant the English media is. In general, most countries' press is very, they are very bipolar in their opinions. So I can understand that. But these are the players that I would recollect right now as overhyped. You can add to that, or you can, disagree with me. They just
Yeah, I certainly don't have a list. I
scientific overhyped. Sorry.
sorry, what was that? I didn't get that.
Okay.
Okay, okay. So, yeah, I'm sorry, Prashant, I didn't hear that. What was that?
I
Hello?
said Alexis Sanchez was also overhyped.
Who? Alexis Sanchez.
Yeah, when he signed for Man United.
I mean, that was not overhyped. That was the wrong signing. He was good for Arsenal, and I think he was very good for Barcelona. I'm not sure why they sold him, but
No, but
and he was good. Hmm.
ever since he joined United, after that his form in general has dipped. He hasn't
Hmm.
played well at. He hasn't played that great
Hmm.
at.
Yeah, so maybe you can add to that. Yeah, maybe Alexis Sanchez is one of them. But I thought when he played for Arsenal and he played for Barcelona, he was brilliant. He was fantastic in terms of scoring goals, creating chances. Overall, a fantastic player. Not
He
sure what
was.
happened to him in United, and after that, what led to his poor form. He went to Inter. So, yeah, maybe to do with his wages that he got, and how South American players at times, they after 30, 31, they don't are not able to compete at that level. I'm not generalizing or I'm not saying about talking about
No, but he
every South. Yeah,
will not compete.
yeah, correct, correct. So yeah, again, that was a nice list, Prashant. Jack Grealish certainly, yeah. I like Grealish a lot. I wanted him to join United, but maybe it would have been things would have been different, playing under a different manager than Pep Guardiola. But
Hmm.
we'll only wait. Only time will tell whether he's actually overhyped or he's a good player. So I think we've passed our time. Prashant, thank you very much. It was a very fun session, especially pages in the comment section, the conversation, the debate, your opinions, Yeah, we all can agree to disagree on certain things and we all have different opinions and that's what makes this game so beautiful and we love to watch and we love as fans, you know, we love to speak to each other about this game, like I said at the beginning of the video, every day some or the other thing keeps on happening, surprise. And the Thomas Tuchel sacking, completely, hit the fact that even Sevilla sacked the manager, Julian Lopetegui. So again, big sacking, and I thought he's a good manager, and I think a decent club will definitely sign him. Oh, thank you guys. This is all for today. And do subscribe to our channel if you are new. Bottom right hand corner. Smash a like on the video. If you did like our conversation, our debate, our argument, our opinions, whatever it is, like do smash a like on the video. It was fun, and we'll meet during the weekend very soon, talking about new games, new topics, new gossips. Football is all about gossips and games. So yeah, we'll speak about that in the weekend. Prashant, it was nice having you. I think Agrim should be back for a weekend stream. Till then, guys, thank you very much. Good night, and we'll see you over the weekend. Bye for now.
Bye, guys.